Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In the previous episodes I showed you in detail how to replace the original instrument cluster with a very affordable aftermarket digital one, and then I walked you through the complete installation of a full ambient lighting kit controlled directly from the factory media unit. There was just one final tutorial missing to complete the puzzle, upgrading the media unit display, which was too small and looked a little outdated. This new ultra-thin 12.3-inch screen keeps the original factory menu while adding wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto and screen mirroring. And because I bought it from REEIIO, just like the digital cluster, it also has a special feature, synchronization with the digital gauges. This means we can change the cluster theme directly from the screen. In this video, I'll also show you how easy it is to connect a reversing camera to this screen and how to route the cables all the way to the trunk handle of this Mercedes W205. And if what I've told you so far still doesn't sound impressive enough, I have some very good news. I managed to get a 23% discount code from REEIIO, valid for both the digital cluster and this CarPlay screen. But let's not waste any more time, let's open the box and see what's inside. For this customer, I bought a CarPlay screen from REEIIO just as I did for many of my previous projects, because their prices are actually lower than those of similar products on AliExpress, and I have never had any problems with the quality of their products. I added the seller's link in the description and in the first pinned comment. I also managed to negotiate a substantial 23% discount code for my followers, but the code is only available for the first 40 orders. In the box we have, of course, a very useful user manual that contains everything you need to know for a proper installation and setup. I'm going to show you all the installation steps anyway, so we won't go through the entire manual in order to avoid making the video too long. In this bag we have the 10.25-inch screen, which will replace the factory 6.5 or 8.8-inch screen. This is a wiring harness with two USB ports if you want to use wired CarPlay or play media files from a flash drive, and the LVDS cable. The LVDS cable allows the original menu to still be displayed. Here we have the main wiring harness with the two large Quadlock connectors through which the CarPlay screen is powered and receives information from the car's CAN bus. We also have the yellow RCA ports for the video signal from a reverse camera and also a front camera. My customer also wanted a reverse camera, so I bought one for the trunk handle, also from REEIIO, and I will show you how to do the wiring and installation. Here we have the bracket for the new screen, and here we have some metal clips and screws for securing the screen to the bracket. Let's start the installation. First we unclip this trim from the center console. Unclip the side sections and press the armrest compartment release button to remove the trim. Under the trim we have two T20 screws. Then we can simply unclip the entire center console trim. If you're interested in high quality automotive tutorials, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We have two connectors at the top. Just press the locking tabs and remove them. Under the center console trim you'll find two connectors which you have to disconnect. The one for the original ambient lighting is missing in this video, and you will find the tutorial for the aftermarket ambient lighting installation tutorial in the description. And here is the cigarette lighter connector, which doesn't have any locking tab. Just pull it out and then remove the entire panel from the car. The media unit is also secured with two T20 screws. Ignore these three connectors at the top, which are also for the aftermarket ambient lights, so most likely you won't have them. Then use a plastic trim removal tool to unclip the grill above the speaker behind the screen. Inside the dashboard there are two more screws securing the original screen bracket. The screen will slide out easily, and at the top you will find two blue connectors, each with a locking tab that needs to be pressed in order to remove it. The connector on the left is the power connector and is no longer needed to power the CarPlay screen. The locking tab is already pressed and locked on the LVDS cable, so I can pry it out now. Do not force the connector if it is not pressed. To remove the Quadlock connector, press the locking tab on the lever and pull the lever until the connector is released. Now we connect the original Quadlock connector to the aftermarket matching connector. Make sure the lever is raised, connect the two connectors and pull the lever to secure the connection. The other aftermarket connector goes into the media unit. Insert the quad-lock connector as far as possible and then secure the connection by raising the lever. The wiring harness with the white connector and RCA ports needs to reach the upper section. I like to use an electrical wire as a guide wire to get the white connector to the upper opening. I simply attach the connector to the guide wire with electrical tape and pull the guide wire from the top. The space in front of the ventilation ducting and between the ducts is quite small, but it is enough to pass the connector through. Most likely the connection between the original quad-lock and the aftermarket one will get in the way because it is quite bulky, so place it in this opening underneath the media unit so that the unit can slide all the way in. The unit went in without any problems now, so I can secure it with the two screws. Now we connect the original LVDS connector to the aftermarket one on the wiring harness with the USB ports. As I said, the original screen power connector remains disconnected. The screen bracket will slide inside and we will pull the two white connectors through its openings. First, let me show you how to connect the reverse camera. The camera is powered through this blue wire labeled CCD 12 volts. We strip this one. We also strip the red camera power wire and we splice them together. I'm not insulating the connection yet until I make sure everything works properly. The yellow RCA connector from the camera connects to the one labeled reverse camera. The opposite end of the cable and the camera have two quick connectors. We align these arrows and connect the connectors. I'll plug the white connectors into the screen to check if everything works. As you can see, the screen is already powered on. I also started the car and shifted into reverse to test whether the camera is working as well. I didn't need to make any settings in the screen menu, the video signal is already being received and the resolution is very good since this is a digital video signal and not analog like the original cameras use. I'm going to secure the camera power wire connection now with a shrinking tube to make sure it doesn't come apart when I guide the cable through the dashboard to the side cover. Don't forget to secure the video signal connection as well. Next, I'm going to guide the reverse camera cable through the dashboard to the side cover. The easiest way to do this is to lower the glove box slightly. It is secured with only 3 T20 screws at the top. Using the improvised guide wire again, I'm going to guide the cable to the right side of the dashboard. If you don't lower the glove box slightly, the space is quite small and it will be more difficult, if not impossible, to guide the camera connector through the dashboard. I easily recovered the mounting screws from the original screen and transferred them to the bracket from the box. We pulled the two white connectors through the openings in the bracket and secured the bracket with the original screws. These metal clips attach to the screen bracket so that the provided screws can secure the CarPlay screen properly. The connectors have a different number of pins, so they only fit into one port, which means you cannot plug them in correctly. We insert the screen from top to bottom and secure it with the two screws using a Phillips screwdriver. We do one final test to make sure everything is okay. Obviously, everything works perfectly, so we can move on to guiding the camera cable all the way to the trunk handle. Just like in the ambient lighting video, we need to remove this trim from the front passenger door seal. I insert the cable through the space between the carpet and the bodywork. Then I unclip the rear door seal trim and using a flexible extension rod as a guide wire, I pass the camera cable through the B-pillar trim. I then guide the cable under the rear door weather strip, underneath this side trim, and then into the trunk underneath the side lining. I will then remove all the clips securing the trunk lining and the trims around the metal arms as illustrated in the video. If you're interested in high quality automotive tutorials, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Using a T30, you will also need to remove the two rubber trunk stoppers. The interior handle is also secured with two plastic dowels that are very easy to remove. I then removed the trunk light connector, but even then I couldn't access or see where the trunk handle nuts were located, so I also removed the warning triangle bracket so I could remove the entire lining. With the help of this video, I think you can remove the nuts without doing this. Then we will unclip this trim because it prevents us from removing the handle. From the inside I have already removed the two nuts, and now we only need to press the side clips and push the handle out. You don't even need to remove the handle button connector, just remove the two T20 screws and transfer the button to the aftermarket handle with the integrated reverse camera. Then I clip the handle back into place and secure it with the two nuts. I secured the reverse camera cable with zip ties to the original wiring harness. I connected the quick connectors and I'm done. The remaining wires can be cut unless you have a manual transmission, in which case the red wire needs to be connected through an additional wire to the reverse light, and at the front you connect to the brown wire instead of the blue one. Switching between the original and aftermarket menus is done by simply long pressing the return button. The joystick of course remains functional, and as you can see, scrolling through the menu is very fast even if you do it by touch. To access the original menu, just tap OEM. I'll now let you see how the screen works as usual in real time, so you know what to expect when you buy this product.
I like Mars, I like cars, driving highways under stars, simple upgrades, clean design, making every drive feel right. The DIY workshop, join the ride, innovation by your side, from the garage to the open road. That's the life. Falls in line, learn a skill with every build, every project gets fulfilled. Every mile, every turn, there's always something new to learn. Every tool, every plan, built by heart, built by hand. Cars are more than steel and chrome. Every driver makes one whole. Every road becomes a story. Every project earns its glory. Factory style with modern views, keeping all the things you choose. Hidden features come alive, making every daily drive. Wireless music, maps that guide, confidence on every ride. Every dashboard tells a tale, every challenge never fails. Weekend mornings in the shop, hey, coffee hot, the music drops, tools are ready, lights are bright. Everything just feels so right. Measure twice and cut once more. Learning things you've never known before. Little details one by one. That's exactly where the magic starts.
As a conclusion, I can honestly say that this screen, together with all the other upgrades I have done, has completely transformed the interior of this car, which now looks more like that of a newer model that costs 5-6 times more. I especially like the fact that it has an ultra narrow bezel and that it is much larger than the OEM screen, which makes it ideal for using navigation apps. You no longer need to mount those ugly phone holders on the windshield or on the air vents. Then, CarPlay, Android Auto, HiCar or even Mirroring are very easy to activate and are stable. The feature that allows you to change the digital cluster theme directly from the wireless CarPlay screen is something new that I haven't seen yet from other manufacturers, and although I don't consider it essential, it is certainly interesting. Everything has an OEM look, the driving experience is completely different in a good way, and let's not forget the most important factor, the price. With my 23% discount code, the price of this screen drops even below that of screens on AliExpress, where many sellers don't inspire much confidence. All the product links, video tutorials and discount codes for the products in this video can be found in the description and in the first pinned comment. Don't forget to reward the effort I put into making these tutorials with a simple like, comment and subscribe. It is completely free, but it helps a lot with the growth of this channel. Until next time, safe roads and all the best.